Our next guest is Frank Day, husband of Gina Day and current owner of the Hotel Boulderado, along with a few other partners. Frank moved to Boulder from Chicago in 1970 for the mountains and a change of lifestyle with new opportunities. Frank, I remember you telling me that your attorney, Mike Bynum, was the person who first let you know about the opportunity to purchase the Hotel Boulderado, but that your focus was more towards the restaurants and the bars. What information would you like to share with us today about your initial experiences with this acquisition?
Let me tell you, my first visit to Boulder was in 1969, and I came with a guy from Chicago who I had invested with in some real estate around here. And of course, we got off the plane in the evening, and we came over the hill, and his first stop was the catacombs. And I didn't see anything else of Boulder. Just wham, we were in the catacombs of Boulderado. And this was 1969. I think the catacombs had just started. Boulder had just gone wet, license number 1. And so I stayed a couple of days, and every night I was back in the catacombs. And I got back to Chicago, and I announced to my family, Boulder's a pretty cool place. I think we'll all move there. And so we did in 1970, and I was in the restaurant business, and I proceeded to open restaurants around town and elsewhere in Colorado during the 70s. And I think at the end of maybe 79 or 80, I was approached by Mike Bynum, who, the Boulderado was under contract with someone else then who was going to turn it into an office condominium. And I made a mental note of that was sort of too bad. But my interest was in the restaurants and the bars. There was the catacombs going strong in the basement. Dick Dorman had, and Sid and the others in the group had created the mezzanine as a wild nightclub. And then there was the Fleur de Lis restaurant, which is now Q's, the dining room. And I thought, boy, this is a great place for restaurants. So we bought it. Knew nothing about the hotel business, really didn't care much about it. But we'll figure out what to do with the rooms. And then we proceeded to think about the rooms. There were some issues because there were bathrooms off the hall, up all the way around the whole mezzanine, and those were favorite places for people to sleep when the mezzanine closed, and we'd have to police and pry people out of the bathtubs and send them home. So we decided to deal with the rooms, and Gina, I think, was this either before or after we got married? I don't remember, but she and Laurel, you were involved in it, Mary Ann, they all started saying, well, there's a bunch of furniture, let's all catalog this, and we'll put all the furniture that looks the same in one room and all the furniture that looks the same in another room, and they moved on. Anyway, we did deal with the rooms. One of the big debates with my partners was, should we or should we not air condition? Because after all, it's Colorado and it's not hot that often. You just open the windows. We did decide to air condition. One of the things that I think has been important about the Boulderado is, and someone else mentioned, the people who've been involved in it, and particularly the owners who've cared about the place and have prevented it from going away. Your husband, Ed Howard, they wanted to rip this place down. The city wanted to condemn it as a worthless old building. And he was the one who put in the sprinkling system, which saved this building. And then Dick and a group who did the stained glass, and fortunately no one had ever fooled with the beautiful cherry woodwork. And so I think, you know, I was very proud to inherit this, and we finally realized, well, I guess we should make it a nice hotel, and so we proceeded over the years to do it. And a lot of the people that are working here today came when I bought it. I knew Sid. Sid had been in the restaurant business with me a few years ago, and I said, Sid, would you mind staying on and sort of running all this room stuff? And I would have been lost because Sid knew where the light switches were and the circuit breakers and all these other hidden nifty things about this hotel. You better know. And Laurel came over, had been a cocktail waitress at a bar we closed, Mary Ann. Had worked, what were you doing when you?
Well, Sid and I came with the mortgage, I kind of.
That's right. You'd been at the Walrus earlier, and so anyway, we sort of figured it out. And I'll just say one other thing. You talk about permanent residence. When we started to remodel the rooms, when we took it over, there were a number of permanent residents who lived up there. And we said, well, we're going to remodel these rooms. We're going to become a hotel, not a rooming house. And gradually these people moved out, except for one who had no place to go. His name was Ralph, and he could well have been the barber. And was he ever the barber in the Boulderado? He was a barber.
Yeah, he was.
Yes, and maybe the guy that cut your son's hair was living here.
Died,
yeah. Anyway, we didn't know what to do with Ralph. Ralph didn't have any money. He got a Social Security check, and we're fixing up this hotel. What are we going to do with Ralph? Well, we realized we had a room up on the 4th or 5th floor that faced on the inside, you know, overlooking the top of the dome. And is a legal room. We couldn't rent it to anyone, but it had a shower and had a bath, and that became Ralph's room. And very similar to Mr. Lowry, we collected his Social Security check. He got fed 3 meals a day. At that time, we had Winston's. He had all these wonderful young ladies who worked in the hotel taking care of him. He had an unlimited bar tab to boot.
Boy, that was a good life.
This was a good life. So finally, when we had, and we probably, he'd still be there, but he needed better care than we could give him. He was really getting ill, and we found a place, a nursing home that would take him. But the word got out, and a group of activist kids came down from the hill, and they were protesting how we were heartlessly throwing Ralph out onto the street. And I remember in the lobby, one young lady came up to me and shook her finger at me and said, Mr. Day, remember this, someday you too will be old. The memory has stuck with me.